Today we're going to be learning about the 2 to 5 player card game, Triple Scoops. Triple Scoops is designed by an independent publisher, Mike and Shine. They are a father-daughter team, actually, Mike in the design and Shine doing all of the artwork. And I learned about this game from Mike when he reached out to me through my YouTube channel and asked me if I wanted to review it. Now, I don't accept every offer to review a game. In fact, I decline most of them. I always take a look at the rulebook first. Usually there's an electronic copy, and I review it to see if it's something that my YouTube audience would be interested in. And if it's not, I decline. Now, obviously, I'm making this video, so I do think it's something that you should be interested in. I'd like to tell you about how this game is played and why I think this is a worthy consideration, especially if you are interested in supporting an independent designer. Three-time champion football coach Clyde Duggan may have retired from the game, but its spirit lives on in his new passion: ice cream. Working at Coach Clyde's ice cream shop is not only fast-paced and hectic, but is also known to be highly competitive. Now, looking to expand the franchise, Coach Clyde has opened tryouts for positions on his Scooper squad. In Triple Scoops, 2 to 5 players will take on the role of Scooper in Coach Clyde's ice cream shop. So that is what the game is about. Now, the way this game is being sold is with a base set that comes with several different cards, and then you can add on to that different expansions for different ways of playing. So as I describe what this game is about, I'm going to talk about kind of the basic gameplay, but I want you to be aware in the beginning that there are many different ways to play. You can have very aggressive gameplay with a very heavy take that mechanic, or you can have friendlier gameplay, or you can even have cooperative gameplay. I find that very interesting. Let's take a look at basic gameplay. This is Triple Scoops, and I should start by saying that what you're going to see here is a little different from what you'll see if you order the game. This is really a prototype, but what I have are several expansion packs here, and I also have cards that come in the base game. Before we look at those, let's take a look at the cards that are used in every game. We have first the assignment cards, and these are like objectives. Players are going to be dealt 2 of these, and they're going to pick one that they're going to use for scoring at the end of the game. Each player is also going to get a cone card, which has 2 sides, and they're going to use that to fill their orders. Next, you have the customer cards. These are going to be the orders that players are trying to satisfy, and they also have 2 sides, where each side has a different cone type. One thing you'll be able to do on your turn is discard 2 cards in order to flip the customers over, and that'll just give you more options of objectives that you can fulfill. You're going to start with 4 customers unless it's a 5-player game, in which case you'll have 5 customers. So with that set up, the next thing you have to do is decide on what you want in your deck to play with. So there are a few cards that are used in every game. The Neapolitan cards, the Rainbow cards, and then there are the Sparks, which are the cards that trigger your Scooper's effect, or your individual player power. To understand where the other cards come from, I'm actually going to open one of these expansions because there's a really great image to show how this works. Every player is going to have a different player power that'll have a special effect that's triggered by that Sparks card, but it's associated with an icon as well. So with 5 different Scoopers, you have 5 different icons. And what you're going to do at the beginning of the game is you're going to pick which Scoopers you want to play with, and then you're going to add the cards with a matching icon into the deck. This is where the element of customization comes from, but for this video, I'm just going to use the 5 default players that come with the base set. With the Scooper selected, each player gets to choose their player power, and then they're going to get 2 assignment cards from which they're going to choose 1. So let's talk about the objective of the game. I've got 2 assignment cards, and I'm going to need to choose 1 to play with. So I can base this off of some of the information I have already, and if we look at this customer here, they want ice cream that has orange flavor, lime flavor, and chocolate flavor, and that happens to match one of my objective cards. So probably going to add this to my own board. This will be my own secret objective, and then at the beginning of the game, my first goal is going to be to win over that customer. Okay, so with my assignment selected, it's now time to start playing, and to begin, you can decide which cone you want to start on. So I'm going to use the side that matches my objective, And for your turn, for every turn in the game, you can play as many cards as you want. So what I'm going to do is play chocolate first because it's necessary to play your ice cream flavors in the order that matches the customer's preference. And this card is going to let me draw another card. Wow, this is actually very lucky because now I can play the lime as from my rainbow card, and there is no ability, it's just the wild. And now I can decide whether or not I want to finish the order. So I could play this card. That would be the third flavor for the customer. And if I do that, I could immediately collect this customer. Or what I can do instead is I can hold off on filling the order, because if I do that, at the end of every turn, when you refresh your hand, you get to draw up to your hand limit, which is always going to be 2 plus the number of cards that are on your cone. So because I already have 2 cards on my cone, I would have a hand limit of 4. Whereas if I fill this order, I would only have a hand limit of 2 because the cone would be cleared after filling the order. So I'm actually going to do that. Okay, so it is my turn again, and one player did fulfill an order, but mine is still available. So I'm going to use this turn to fulfill that order. So the first thing I'll do is I'll play orange, and then I'm going to use this ability to thwart the other players. And now what I'm going to do is take all of this ice cream, discard it, and I'll take the order and set it over here and turn another one over. So it's still my turn. I can continue to play as many cards as I want. I can even fulfill multiple orders in the same turn. But I've got vanilla and strawberry and lime. And so what I could do is I could fulfill this order. But here's the thing. If I look back at my assignment card, I really don't care about strawberry, vanilla, or blueberry. I'd rather get more orange and chocolate. So this card has orange and it has chocolate. And it even has the kind of cone that I want. So even though there's no lime, I would rather have this card than any of these other ones. But I don't have the right flavors in my hand. By the way, it's worth mentioning, you can actually see an icon at the top of the card. If I discard any 2 cards, I can flip this over and I can fulfill the customer's second choice here. But in this case, this is not better than the other side of the card, so we're going to try to fill this. But again, I don't have any orange, so here's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to put the vanilla down. Now, I don't need lime, but what you can do is instead of playing a flavor onto your cone, you can just discard it for the effect. So I'm going to use the lime's effect in order to swap out my top flavor with another player's card. And that's going to give me the orange. And so I've got the strawberry now, and here's the thing. I need the strawberry to go on top. So if I play this card right now, I could draw a card, but then I'd be out the strawberry. So instead, I'm going to hold this in my hand, and I'm just going to end my turn right here. I'm going to fill up to my hand limit, which is now 2 cards plus 1 for the flavor that's on my cone, and now I have a total of 3 cards in my hand, but none of them are chocolate. So whether or not I'm going to get chocolate and fulfill this customer's order, it's gonna depend on how the rest of the game goes, but that's the general idea. Now I'd like to share with you my thoughts on playing this game. First, there are some things that I really admire about the design and it being so customizable. Players can really influence the game in a huge way just by adding cards that fit their style of play. If the game is too aggressive, you can add friendly cards. If there's too much luck, you can add cards that will help you balance out the luck a little bit more. If it's not interactive enough, you can add cards that will offer more interaction. I think that's brilliant. And not to mention, if the game is too competitive, there's even a cooperative mode. So there's so much that you can mold to your liking, and that's really great. However, I still don't know if I can really get into the game as much as I would like to, despite my admiration for this element of customization. And that is because of this mechanic in fulfilling orders. When you have your assignment card that you choose at the beginning of the game, this is the only way that you'll be able to get points. It doesn't matter how many customers you've fulfilled orders for. It only matters if those customers have these flavors that they've asked for. So as you're doing that, you might be looking at what customers are available, and having an orange worth 3 points, you're really going to want to find customers that have that, right? So this customer has orange on it, and orange is the first flavor that they're requesting. You can put all of your effort into building this order, but the problem is, even if you're holding chocolate and strawberry, you can't play your chocolate and strawberry card until you have an orange card. Now, again, one of the cards that is in the game lets you switch flavors around. If you have that card, you can switch the flavors, then you could play chocolate and strawberry first, and then you could play switch card later so you can switch it. But if you don't have that in play, your only choice is really to find ways to get orange. So there may be cards that let you draw more, there may be cards that let you steal from your opponents, there may be cards that let you look through the deck for orange, but any of these cards that are going to help you find orange, the only way to get them is by drawing cards. And if you're holding two cards in your hand, let's say you're holding the strawberry and the chocolate, then the two things that you need to finish the order are actually blocking your hand from being able to get the first thing that you need to fulfill the order. And I think that's what really frustrates me about the game. It doesn't matter that you've got 2/3 of what the order requires. You need to get the orange first, and you're just going to have to get lucky with the draw. Too often when I play this game, I find myself in a situation where there's a flavor that I want, and despite my best efforts, I just can't find a way to get to it. Even though there are cards in the way. Like, for example, there are cards like this. You might have cards that say, reveal the top 3 cards and then take one revealed strawberry into your hand. So this card lets you take a strawberry card. Well, okay, so if you're holding this in your hand, what good does that do you? You're looking for orange. This card lets you get strawberry. This card lets you get one of the top 3 scoops from the discard pile. Okay, that's good, but what if there's no orange there? So you're holding this one, you can't use it. This one says draw 2 cards and give 1 to an opponent. Okay, that's fine, but if you don't draw orange, it's still frustrating. It's just very, very frustrating when you're holding cards with abilities that are completely worthless, and sometimes the best thing you can do is discard the cards that you're holding without using their effect, just so you can draw your hand back up. And when that happens a lot, it turns me off. Now, while I know my irritation is really coming through, the thing is, that's also what I look for in games. I look for games that have more agency and have less luck. I'm normally annoyed by luck. If you just like playing a fun, light card game, and this has so many elements of design that I really appreciate. Let's even talk about like the theme and the artwork, the cards, the quality. I haven't talked about components yet, but I think this is a beautiful game. I think it has a lovely theme. You've got the cooperative mode, which, by the way, the cooperative mode totally nullifies my complaint, because in co-op, you're just trying to fulfill customer orders. You're not worried about assignment cards. I have not actually played the co-op mode yet, but at least that's there. And it kind of goes back to my original point, which is that there are so many ways to customize the game to your liking. I guess what it really boils down to is that for me, it probably has just too much luck. I hate doing that. I always criticize games because they have too much luck for me, but that's how I look at games. I want things that have a little bit more control, so you can exercise strategy, and I don't see a lot of strategy in this game. The cuteness of the game, the whole theme in it, competing to do the ice cream cones. Thematically, it's probably like a 2. Mechanics are oh man, I struggle. I like the customization so much. I want to give it a really high rating, but the fact that you need to get a customer's order in the right order annoys me so much. It's maybe like a 6 or 7. Components, this is one of the highest quality card games that I have. Everything about it is gorgeous. I think it's probably a 9. For strategy, the cards kind of play you a little bit more, but there are some creative ways that you can kind of work with it. You can steal from other players. You can do these different, like you can play your cards in specific order. You can run out a cone just so you can increase your hand size. There are some pretty cool decisions that you can make in this game. Nevertheless, for strategy, probably 3. And then for complexity, it's very simple. So complexity would be a 3. So that is my review of Triple Scoops. Not so much a game for me, but definitely has some excellent characteristics that I think are worth knowing, at least knowing about this game. If you want to order it though, it's print-on-demand service, so you can actually find links on the description. You're not going to find it on Amazon or in your friendly local game store. You gotta order each individual copy from a print-on-demand service. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.